I had been to a couple of acting schools. I had been to the University of Miami, where they basically said, forget it, it's hopeless. And I was relegated to moving stage props around. I was like backstage. I got one little part. And I said, no, this can't be it. This really can't be it. But the teacher said, really think about maybe working stagecraft behind the scene. And I was feeling pretty arrogant, so I literally left that day, 3 credits shy of graduation. I said, I can't buy into this. And why am I sticking around here if he doesn't have any confidence in me? So I left and I went to Europe backpacking, basically. I just had a little thing on my back, a couple of albums by, who were they? One was, it was Traffic, and the other was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. And I don't know why, but in Procol Harum. And I just was walking around Europe, literally backpacking alone. And I said, okay, this is the quiet before the storm, because as soon as I get wherever I'm going, it's now reality time. So finally, I was sitting on the Costa Brava in Spain. At that time, it was like, how do you find yourself? Where everyone was into this est and trying to, what is the soul? Who am I? You really want to find yourself, reach into your back pocket, grab your butt. There you are. No one has the answers. Life is a conundrum, period. Which I was soon to find out. Literally jumped on the next cheap flight, landed in New York the day of Woodstock. I didn't even know what Woodstock was. And that was a reality check. I conveyed that to my children. I said, imagine landing with maybe $150 into a city with 8 million people. You have no connections, nothing. You have a backpack, worn out clothes, and you're on your own. So I bumped around there a little bit, and I couldn't afford a place, so I was sleeping in bus stations and getting up during the day, or having cops come by. Hey, move on. To where? To the post office? Where do I go? And so that's the beginning that's my introduction into the big city life. Then I was going nowhere. I realized I was going to be a professional extra because I didn't fit a certain mold. I wasn't your classic handsome leading man. I guess my face, my speech pattern, my mouth, I slurred. So it was rough. I'd always have actors, not actors, but agents, auditioning agents would go, do you have a speech impediment? I said, I guess I do. I do. I was born in a charity ward in New York. It was Hell's Kitchen, the neighborhood. It's called Hell's Kitchen at the time. And they deadened a nerve here. So that's why my mouth and my voice is deeper and it slurs, and there's nothing I can do about it. So I said, wow, this is never going to work. So all I had for 2 years, I finally got a room for $21 a week. Got a job as an usher for $1.15 an hour, where I thought, I have no one is interested in me. I'm just going to watch movies over and over and over and dissect them. How are they made? How are they made? What are the tricks? And after a while, you start to see certain patterns in there. And so I studied filmmaking literally as an usher. I wasn't what you would call a stagecraft worthy actor. I wasn't Al Pacino. These guys had been around for a while. They were really good. And I was raw. I mean, just green onions. So I thought, okay, I have to focus on being a specialist in something. And by image, and everyone should understand how they are perceived in the world. Some people can walk into a room and like own it. It just is that way, and some people are not. And you have to, okay, if you're not that kind of person, then you have to develop certain kind of personality to make up for that. So you're not overly attractive. You're not Mr. Charisma, but you could end up being the leader if you figure out how to manifest certain kind of a stature of confidence. Like, don't be afraid to talk to people, seriously, and I find a lot of people that have become incredibly successful have very little going physically, but they manifest it in other ways. And the brain kicks in and goes, you know what, I'm going to be a lot ballsier than people think. I'm gonna push past my fear. Well, I realized that I was going nowhere fast, and I started to write. And I was terrible. Writing is incredibly personal, and I wasn't trained. I was not a very good student. So I would take a tape recorder to the movie theater when I was an usher, and I would record dialogue, go back, sit on my little bed, and try to rewrite that dialogue. In other words, okay, how would you say it? So I played games with myself. And this went on for months and months and months until I started developing a kind of writing style, which was incredibly clumsy in the beginning. But with anything, it just is a matter of redundancy, continuing to do it over and over until you start to say, wow, I'm starting to get a flow. It's like in painting. I tell people, if you want to paint, the first 15 paintings or 30 are garbage, gonna be garbage. Just own that. But you're learning in that process, like boxing. First 30 rounds, you're gonna get beat up. That's the whole deal. The cornerstone of my success is either it's just blind stubbornness, ignorance, or incredible optimism. But somewhere among all of that, I always thought that there's no other option. I said, what am I going to do? Teach phys ed? I wouldn't work well under that system. So I continued to grind ahead. And at 25, I was getting like little bit parts in Capone or Death Race 2000 because I was a certain type. And I was always the gangster or the thug. And that started to resonate with me because I always thought I was Hugh Grant. I thought I was the romantic lead. I go, no, you're not. You're the villain that the good guy beats up. I went, wow. Then I said, I don't accept that. Woody Allen beats me up. Then Jack Lemmon beats me up. Then David Carradine beats me up. I go, maybe they're right. Telly Savalas yells at me. Another guy beats me up. So I said, there has to be a character in there that looks like a thug, but is not. He's really a wolf in sheep's clothing, or vice versa. He's a sheep in wolf's clothing. He looks tough. That was the beginning of Rocky. I needed to somehow take what I had going, way people see you, and emphasize that, become kind of a specialist at it. You're not gonna be that romantic lead. You're not gonna be the De Niro guy. So you have to be that odd combination of potential violence, tough, but sweet, innocent, really guileless, non-prejudicial about anything. You know, he likes everybody. Even if he loses, he goes, that's life. I realized that earlier on, a very important lesson was taught to me by a fellow that I haven't seen in 50 years. And the turning point in my career was, I was very sensitive to rejection. Seen a lot of it as a child, as we all have. So my agent, whatever it was, I was an extra basically, and I got a job at a Woody Allen movie. Me and another fella who was a little bit shorter, and we were cast as thugs to mug Woody Allen. And sure enough, Woody Allen, when I went up to him, was incredibly shy. He wouldn't even look at me or the other fella, and he whispers to the assistant director, and he goes, "Now you guys aren't. No, you're not intimidating enough." I went, "Oh, okay." And I was leaving the subway because there was a subway scene, and went back up on 3rd Avenue. I'm standing there. The guy goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "We just got fired. You get it? We weren't even hired." He goes, "You're gonna give up like that?" And I'm looking at this guy who has, guts. He goes, "Well, let's go do something about it." So we go into a pharmacy, got Vaseline, greased our hair, put some soot from the subway here, took our clothes and twisted them so they're wrinkled, and says, "Come on." And we went up to the AD, and he grabs him, and I grab him, and I go, "You intimidated now? How about I break your face?" He goes, "Whoa, let me get Woody." And sure enough, that's how I got the job. And from that point on, there was no going back. Yes. It's just as I don't know this. I cannot tell you how many jobs I was always the second or third choice, but by the time we came around, I kept telling the director, I said, I'm the guy. And the other guy was a better actor, but he just didn't have, some people have certain thing inside. I didn't even know what it was, but I just knew I'm better than you, at least in my brain.
Yeah, I think it's passion, isn't it? The passion
something,
inside.
Yeah.
If you have that can overcome talent, I believe, or
No
that can overcome,
yeah.
Somebody that might be a little bit more advanced in an art, but if you show passion and
Yeah.
willingness, that can overcome and move forward.
For sure. Like the most recent show I had in Germany with painting. I'm certainly no Miro, I'm not even close, but I paint with passion, and it really comes out, and quite often it makes an impact because people say, oh, this is not a passive thing for him. It's like he attacking the canvas, and that's the way I pursued life.